Hi, everyone. This is Coach Stephanie Wood, and I'm here with Anika Jameson. That's Jameson. And we're here on my Tap Into Your Body Confidence podcast, where entrepreneurs unite to showcase their talents to the world. And before we get into our topic today, Anika, tell our audience what you're up to and how they can connect with you.
Hi, everyone. I am so happy to be here once again with Stephanie. I am the owner, founder of Your Intrinsic Image, and we serve women by guiding them to embody their intrinsic image by revealing their inner beauty, power, and presence. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at yourintrinsic.image.com. Or you can email me at Anika, Anika, at yourintrinsic.image.com if you're interested in working with me one-on-one.
And you can find me at bodyawe, BODYAWE.com. And Anika knows I totally enjoy coaching women entrepreneurs to integrate better business skills into their business. And most importantly is to tap into their confidence so that they feel more confident going out into the world. And I do this with my body knowledge system and my years of experience owning and creating and managing several profitable businesses. And with that said, Anika and myself were talking about being kind to yourself. Now, I know on some days being kind to myself is so easy, and other days. So, where would you start with a client who comes to you and says, how do I do this be kind to myself process?
Okay, well, so just to give everyone just a little bit of a background, this is part 3 of our 6 series, and we're talking about your intrinsic image, right? And intrinsic means to honor your true nature that is not referenced by external circumstances, right? And so today, since we're talking about being kind to yourself and nurturing self-compassion, that is so aligned with that, because so many times when we have external circumstances going on, right, in our lives, whether it's with our family, our friends, or maybe even in our home, sometimes there are certain emotions that comes depending on what situation we're dealing with. And sometimes some of the emotions are not good emotions, right? We may get angry, we may get scared, we may even be disappointed. And sometimes we may beat up on ourselves for feeling that way, especially if we have done some type of self-development work in the past. We feel like we should be able to push through it like sooner than later, like not to stay in it. But part of being kind to yourself is being able to recognize those feelings, because they are valid, right? Our emotions are real and they are valid. The thing is it's not lingering in it for a long time. So it's recognizing it, how we're feeling, acknowledging it, allowing ourselves to feel all of it, right? And when we do that, we honor ourselves, we honor our emotions, we're being kind to ourselves because we're not putting pressure, we're not putting a timeline on it. So, and once we do that, then we could just, that emotion will eventually release itself, because we're allowing ourselves to experience it and allowing it to move through us. And that's by being kind to yourself on its own.
I have a question, Anika. Okay, so I was referencing a situation that happened to me half hour ago, where I was expressing the emotion. I would label it as a little bit of anger sprinkled in with more anger and more anger. And I was expressing it to my husband.
Mm-hmm.
It felt good to release and acknowledge the emotion as you just put forth.
Mm-hmm.
But to be quite frank, I'm still feeling it. And it's been like, I would say 45 minutes since this occurrence. So is there a timeline
Okay.
or?
There isn't a timeline, right? And I don't think 45 minutes is enough. There's a scripture reference that says, don't let the sun go down on your anger. So if we just go based off of that, that's typically within a 24-hour period, right? So what I'm saying is, it may not necessarily be like gone the next day, but it should be better than the day it was before,
Well,
right?
I think the sleeping, doing some movement,
Mm-hmm.
doing another activity that has nothing to do with what
Yes,
was. So those are tips that are important.
it
Be-
is, because for me, it's walking.
Yes, me
When
too.
my temperature starts boiling and I'm like, I'm gonna go take a walk. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This hair starts getting higher. So, and believe it or not, my cheeks start getting red, right? Like so it looks like I have on like an internal blush.
Oh,
But
people are going to
that's
talk,
it for
Anika.
me.
They're going to talk about you with the
I
hair
know
and the
they
red.
are. I know.
But you know what I'm
And
noticing
that's
now?
usually it for me.
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
because what I'm smiling about is that we're both right now look observing ourselves and going, it's okay, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm still gonna press you for the timeline. I mean, let's say I have other things to do and I don't want that anger floating around.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say this, if you are conscious of wanting it to like not hold on to it because you feel like it may disrupt your day, well, then at that point, I would suggest you take a timeout, right? Whether it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you do something that you think will make you feel better. So if you're not a walker because it's too cold outside, maybe it may be just putting on some meditation music, something that you know
Mhm.
that can calm you, right? That can calm your mind. If you are someone that has like a pool, or a hot tub, maybe you could go out and sit in the hot tub with a pool for 50 minutes, or maybe just taking a hot shower, right? Depending on what your schedule is, it may be like, you know what, or a cold shower, because that too has benefits.
Or I was
So you
thinking,
have to find a mechanism.
I would put on the Rolling Stones.
Hey, and if that works for you, if you need to put on some rock and roll and dance, right? Since you're a body all coach and you need to dance it out, go ahead and dance it out. I think the key is finding something that works for you to help you to release that energy that's not serving you, right? And so once you can find something that helps you to do that, then by all means, give yourself the grace to do it. Or it may be just phoning a friend. You may have that one friend that you know that she is not going to allow you, or he's not going to allow you to sit in your mess, and they're going to get on the phone with you and be like, okay, girl, oh, okay, boy, what's going on, right? And they will give you those words of encouragement to support you. And so that may be even you taking time out of your day to say, hey, I need to call so and so and talk to them. So
So
find that thing or that person that helps you to get through that process and use it.
so far we have acknowledgement of
Yes.
the emotion, and I'm going to use the word alternative. Do something
Mm-hmm.
different because that allows the energy to dissipate or become something more positive, and you're just in a different place
Mm-hmm. It
and
is.
you
And
see
the key to
things.
going back to the I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, the key to phoning a friend, it has to be someone that's encouraging, not someone that's going to allow you to sit in your mess. That's the key, because misery loves company. So we want if we are calling someone, you're calling that person that you know that's going to help to encourage you and lift you up out of your current situation.
So when you say lift you up,
Lift up
okay,
your
let's
spirits.
let's do an example. I'll be the angry
Okay.
person. I'm
Okay.
calling Anika. Hello, Anika. I just had this situation that it's not even worth talking about the situation. It just, I felt taken advantage of. I'm angry, and I'm going to be quiet now. What do you think?
So, okay, you don't want to talk about the situation. So at least tell me why you're angry. Like what happened?
The situation is with a bill that I received that was,
Okay.
we had agreed on the amount for this bill, and then I get the bill and it was for twice as much.
Okay. All right. Did you try reaching out to the person?
I was too angry. I think I have to go
Okay.
through the process of being compassionate with myself.
Okay. Because there's so many possibilities for why the bill could be higher, right? It could be a computer error. I think you're skipping out. Okay. So it could be a computer error. It could be maybe the person sent you someone else's numbers, right? Or maybe they had forgot about the previous agreement that you made and probably needs to be reminded of it. So there could be so many reasons why the bill is incorrect. So I would suggest, instead of, I understand the disappointment with the numbers not being what you expected, I would say to reach out and find out why it is the way it is. And then once you have that conversation, then you could take it from there. But I don't think you should be upset until you know exactly why the error occurred.
So what's coming to mind is, when I was upset, I was from the neck up. It was all a mind thing. Somebody's taking advantage of me, blah, blah, blah. But now I have to go deep into my body's confidence and my body's awareness. Because I think that's what happens when you get into those negative emotions. You said there's nothing wrong with them. We should be compassionate about them. But I think this is what our body's wisdom has to tell us. I've got to be with my body a little bit before I do anything.
Yeah, correct. And so I think part 2 of processing our negative emotions is trying to get understanding around it. And once we have understanding around it, that's what helps us to move through it. And that's what allows us, that's why we can be kind to ourselves. Because we're aware, like we talked about earlier, and now we're actually taking action to make sure that we don't stay in that place, and giving ourselves grace, the time to get through it.
And also, I totally enjoy the idea of speaking to someone who knows how to listen, you were great. I mean, you gave me like 4 or 5 alternatives that I hadn't even thought of.
And that's what it is. Sometimes we just need a sounding board. So because when we're in that emotion, we may not be able to think clearly. And we just need someone else to bring to our awareness, hey, well, I understand how you're feeling, but maybe you need to look at it from a different perspective. And then that could possibly change the way how you feel about it.
So can we recap for our audience? 1 to 3 steps that they should remember going out into the world.
I know. Yes. So when it comes to being kind to yourself, first, I would say acknowledge the emotion, right? Acknowledge it because we are emotional beings and we're going to feel what we feel. Secondly, once you identify that emotion, figure out a way, a method for you that's going to help you process that method, whether it's phoning a friend, taking a walk, a hot shower, putting on some rock and roll music, dancing it out, So that's the second thing. And the third thing is, once you are able to do those two things, give yourself the grace and the time to allow it to pass, right? Know that each day as you work through that emotion, because some, like we said, there's really no time frame. It just depends on how deep that emotion runs. So you may be able to process it in a day. It may take a couple more days. But the key is giving yourself the grace so that each day is getting better and better until you get to the point where it's actually gone. Because your goal is not to stay in it, but to allow it to pass through.
Not to stay in it, but allow it to pass. I'm going to choreograph a dance around it. Okay, how can people, yeah, I am. How can people connect with you?
Sure, you can connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Your Intrinsic Image. You can also email me at Anika, Anika, at yourintrinsic.com if you would like to speak with me one-on-one.
And myself, bodyawe, BODYAWE.com. Check out my body knowledge system, some no-cost ebooks on my site. And Anika, I will see you soon again. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.